Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Stampscaping 101. This is a quick and easy kind of wintry scene. It's a technique that you can do on a blue kind of matte cardstock like this, or you can do it on any color paper. And what I've done on this one right here is I've gone in and I've just stamped my mood and media composition in a dark blue ink, just so it's a little bit more subtle and doesn't have quite as much contrast, and would kind of relate to the hue of this piece right here. Okay, so just, I don't know, monotone impressions right here, just all in black. And I've just gone into it with my Dr. P.H. Martin's Blade Proof White. It's an opaque watercolor paint. It's very inexpensive. I don't know. I bought mine for $4.15. It's probably $5 or $6 now. I don't know, maybe a little bit more, but that has been applied with a paintbrush. Okay, just a thin paintbrush right here on my rocks and trees, kind of scumbled across a lot of the trees and put on the tops of my rocks. And I've just used a used toothbrush with the same paint, and I've splatter painted all of that nice little texture in the sky, over the trees, and the water, just basically everywhere across the scene to give it that extra texturing and I don't know, I guess snowfall type of texture, and in doing so it's kind of unified all of these different marks that I've applied by hand with the paintbrush. So a very quick and easy scene here. You know, we're talking about one color of ink, a little bit of a touch-ups using my paintbrush, and you don't have to be careful with it at all because of all that splatter painting over the top of it tends to kind of unify and bring it all together in the end anyways, and it's all about textures. So I'm certainly not a painter and expert on brush handling, but for something like this you don't have to be good at it, and I don't know, it kind of helps just kind of add it around in kind of random ways. I guess on the tops of my rocks here that's not quite so random, but it is kind of just laid down in kind of a blobby type of touch right there, but it's kind of fun. Anyways, this paper is a light blue paper, and I mentioned it in the video here, but it is the Personal Touch, and I bought it from Kelly Paper. It's www.kellypaper.com/personal touch. Okay, this one right here was very inexpensive. It's 25 sheets of cover weight stock in 8.5 by 11 for $3.86, but I think I bought that on clearance. I tend to go there and they have their clearance section in the stores, and I don't think you can buy it on clearance online, but if you're ever in the area in Southern California, and there's a couple in Arizona, I think, and maybe Pacific Northwest, I'm not quite sure, you have to check online, but so there's some really great papers in there. This one right here is done on this light blue paper, and you can certainly do this technique right here in terms of the the bleed-proof white touching, touch-ups. You do it with a white gel pen too. But as I mentioned in the video, it'd be fun to try this this technique here on different colors of paper, like say a dark green or something like that, with these little snowy touches, to go along with this pine forest, or like a paper bag looking, kind of beige brown color paper, and stamp everything out in maybe a dark brown. And I think this piece would look real kind of antique in spirit. So anyways, quick and easy video. Scene, I guess, and a quick video. So if you choose to watch it, I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, let's see what we can do here with this kind of lighter blue. It's almost like a, I don't know, it's like the Marvy Salvia Blue ink color. Maybe not quite. It's a little bit of a lighter value, but it is the Personal Touch Baby Blue Eyes paper, and it's a 80-pound cover weight, kind of semi-textured stock. And I think I bought it on clearance, $3.86 at kellypaper.com/personal-touch. Well, I bought it at Kelly Paper at the retail store, but that's the place to look for it if you're looking online. But like I said, I think this was in their clearance rack, so you know, less than $4 for 25 sheets, not too bad. But I was looking to do a scene here, and I wanted to do it in kind of more of those kind of iridescent looking, you know, colors, but I didn't have that in a bluish tinge, so I thought I'd try my Personal Touch paper that I picked up the last time I went to Kelly. And I'm looking to use that with the bleed proof white and doing a real textured piece right here. Now, instead of doing this in black, I thought I would do it in a value of blue. I wasn't quite sure which one to do that in, because I want this to be a little bit subtle, but of course we want our images to show up, so you can't do it too light like something like this. I mean, we'd stamp that down there and you wouldn't see it at all, so it's a matter of using something like a medium to darker blue. Now the Mementos, I know it just, from my experience, they stamp out a little bit lighter than what the indexing sticker would show, and I don't know, this is a little bit of a different kind of tone or shade of blue than this blue right here. If this blue were a darker version, it wouldn't be this, but I don't know, this is the one that the blue that I have, so it's, I don't know, it's kind of more in the spirit of a, I don't know, what is that? Not cobalt. It's not really quite navy, but, you know, it is a little bit of a darker blue. And then I have the Marvy number 3 blue, which would probably be okay too, but I don't know. The Marvy would be a little bit darker, so I thought I would just try this one, and I expect this to stamp out a little bit lighter anyway. But let's see what we get from it. Okay, this is a little bit of a textured paper, and if the image doesn't stamp out, you know, perfectly smooth, that's fine with me, because the scene itself is going to be so highly textured anyway. I'm not really worried about it, so let's see what we come up with here in terms of an impression. And we'll follow suit with the, you know, the sibling designs in this mood and media composition. Okay. Alright, so that's what we have here. It's pretty good, I guess. You know, in terms of what I'm looking for. It's always a little bit strange to me to be stamping on kind of a matte colored paper, because I don't do it too often, but kind of in the spirit of this mood and media and coming up with, you know, some different looks. There are different types of techniques and things like that that I really like, you know, but it's usually done by other people, so I haven't done it too much myself, but I certainly do like the looks of them when I see things on, like the Facebook group. Take a look at that if you ever have a chance, the peer-led Facebook 2 Stampscapes, or Stampscapes 2 Facebook group. We have some scenes up on the Flickr site as well, but the most scenes are going to be in the online Stampscapes.com gallery section. Okay, so it's interesting. I think I might have had some black on that. Did I? Maybe. So these two blues, well, the one blue looks quite different, but you can see where I've overlapped it. It gives a kind of a darker impression from, you know, the two impressions overlapping one another. All right, now I'm trying to think if I want to stamp in my foreground right now or later. Let's just do it right now. I think I do have some black on this one, but I'm just going to go for it. If it stamps it a little bit darker, then so be it. I want to have something to add some of this bleed-proof white to, in terms of kind of like fir snow or something like that. Granted, the leaves wouldn't be on this branch in the snow, but we'll just call it an early snow, or a unseasonably early snow. So we'll have the benefit of having, you know, some leaves still on the branches here, and kind of a nice texture going on in the background, representing falling snow. Those of you who are in snow country and you're saying, no early snow, you know. You just got rid of it from last year, or whatever, you know, seemingly, you know, if it's stuck around for an extra kind of long winter. Okay, heading over the reeds large. Okay, there's our composition. It's always kind of interesting stamping it out in a color too, and as opposed to black. Okay, we have our Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Okay, and it's an opaque watercolor, and it is white. And it's just like it says. It's very opaque and bleed proof. You paint it over something, you know, you want to get it, you know, add a little bit of water to it and mix it till it's, you know, kind of has a good kind of paint consistency. You don't want it too thin. In terms of the opacity aspect of it, unless you want it to be a little bit more translucent, then I guess you can add a little bit more water to it. But I'm going to just kind of get fairly thick with this. It's going to look a little bit, or maybe a lot, too thick on here in terms of my application, but after I do the kind of that splatter painting technique, it's should be fine. I don't know. I can always refine it later, but okay, let's say you are interested in doing this type of look right here. There's other options for the bleed proof white, like what I'm doing right now. You can just do with a white gel pen, right? You know, the paintbrush and some paint gives it a little bit more variation, I guess, you know, in terms of your application kind of mark, you know, with a little bit of thicks and thins that are come about from using a brush, but you can get very good results just using a gel pen, white gel pen. We've used all kinds of things in the past. Over the years, people have used like correctional pens and that type of thing, you know, with good results. Okay, so kind of adding that in gives it a little bit of a kind of snow on the rocks type of look to it. All right. I'm going to add some to my trees as well, okay? So I'm just looking around for some tree branches here. It's kind of like a, oh, I don't know, it's a little bit of a kind of a scumbling, you know, it's like you're just kind of adding it here and there. It doesn't have to be perfect at all, as you can see. But I'm not just trying to, you know, stick to the, just to the outlines or something like that. So then I just kind of edit right up and down that. Some of it is not on a branch. I just kind of, I don't know, it's like a little dot here and there or something. So it's kind of like a little stroke and dot or whatever. Little squiggle you can do. Alright, get a little bit more paint. As this kind of gets less and less, it becomes a little bit more translucent. Maybe use that, you know, to your benefit, you know, having a little bit of that translucency on there, you know, for a different type of, you know, mark. So it's all good. It's just all kinds of different variation. I'm certainly not a painter, so you know, in fact I barely do it, and I wouldn't really call this painting. I wouldn't want to insult any painters around, but it does the trick, you know. As far as this goes, you know, it's just a fun little technique right here. So kind of, I'll show you what it looks like on one of the trees right here. Kind of gives it a little bit more dimension, doesn't it? You know, it's a little bit more three-dimensional. And of course, this is one of those things where when you're adding it this way, you know, you can add as much or as little as you want. It comes out different every time. I don't know if I'd want to do 50 cards, you know, like Christmas cards or something like that, like this. But it doesn't take too long. I would just mass produce. I would do it. I wouldn't do one card at a time, of course. I would just kind of get an assembly line type of thing going. Yeah, a few little dots on these kind of more distant trees here. How about some on these overhanging tree limbs? It's the oak branch. Let's see if I can get a little bit on these reeds here in the foreground. I don't know. Let's see if I have kind of a steady enough hand, maybe. Okay, well, strokes down there a little bit. And there's these little kind of striations in my water on the design itself. See them writing down in here. See that? those little reverse marks, and I'm just going in and adding those into the scene again. Kind of gives a surface to that water. All right. Okay. Now, that looks a little bit, as far as a technique, it gets a little, I don't know, maybe less than graceful. Certainly with my painting, or lack of painting kind of expertise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to texturize it, which I think looks good anyway, and enhances it, but it also kind of masks over my deficiencies, which is always a good thing to do. Alright, so let's see here. I'm going to take my bleed-proof white and just an old toothbrush, Oral-B. I don't know, maybe a firm bristle would work, I don't know. Maybe not a soft bristle. I'm going to have a little bit of spring to it. Medium, maybe? I don't know. Medium to firm? I don't know what this one is. Alright, I'm kind of getting out some of that paint. I don't want it to glob on me. Although if you get those kind of big spots, you've seen those kind of splatter painting styles of cards, especially winter cards, and you know, those big drops look pretty good. I don't want a dime-sized one on here or something like that, but all right, let's see what I can do here. All right, you kind of hold your brush kind of vertical like this, you know, not at an angle like, I don't know, might work, but I hold it down and I just kind of spring it back like this and kind of roughly try to direct it. I am getting some variation of kind of small and large kind of flecks of paint here. Alright, here, let me try to keep this within view. Alright, I think I'm going to pause this. Everything's fairly light. I need to... Okay, I just changed the exposure down a little bit. It's too light. Alright. Can you see it happening? I'm working on it upside down because I'm trying to get this top part, you know. I think I'm going to add quite a bit. I don't know. Like I said, it kind of masks over things. It masks it over not just by covering it up, but just that kind of integration of another layer of texture on the piece. I don't know. Just it pushes everything that I've stamped kind of back a little bit in terms of, I don't know, maybe visual distance, certainly with texturing. And the texture itself, it just kind of unifies the the piece. Now this one, because I did it on a very light value of blue paper, I feel it can stand it can stand a decent amount of this kind of splatter painting. If it was darker, it would, you know, the contrast would be a lot more extreme, so splatter away. You can do this on whatever colored paper you want though, but I don't know. When do you know to stop? I don't know, hold it at an arm's distance and see what it looks like. See if you like it or not. See if it needs more. If something, you get this kind of nagging feeling in your, I don't know, mind or whatever, you know, just add a little bit more. And, you know, you don't have to do a gigantic splattering, you know, right across there too fast. But, all right. So, it's kind of an interesting wintry type of technique right there. It's certainly a quick and easy technique as far as scenes go. You have one color of dye-based ink and just your bleed-proof white. All right, now there are other, I think there's a mist bottle of like white pigment ink or something like that. That might work, I don't know. I doubt if it would be as opaque as bleed-proof white. Bleed-proof white is really opaque. It's what calligraphers use to do kind of letter form writing with dip pens and stuff like that on black paper and, you know, different colored papers or something like that. They need it reasonably opaque, you know, for the letter forms to show up, especially when they do those, you know, they tail something off. They want it to be, you know, go from opaque to translucent or something like that. And anyways, but kind of you can experiment around with what you have. You can use gel pens and whatnot. One thing, if you ever use bleed-proof white, I would do the gel pens, if you're going to do gel pen work on here, before you do the bleed-proof white, because these are rollerball pens, and when you start going over bleed-proof white here, it's kind of a chalky paint, so it tends to get, you know, stuck on the in the roller ball, because you're kind of rolling over it, and, you know, that paint's going up into the roller ball, so you have to kind of scrub it off to get it going again. So try to get everything you're going to do down before, if you do kind of this splatter painting type of thing. So as far as some people have asked me about this I don't know, I have that all over my thumb from doing that thing, but you can see my fingers right here are fairly clean, but, you know, I go like this, and that bleed-proof white is completely dry on here. It's a real chalky, you know, paint, and it was in pure liquid form. Here I added that water, and it, you know, you can saw it spray out, but after it hits this, it really dries very quickly, which is really quite nice. And I don't know, if you were to send this to someone, I would spray seal it with something like that, a spray fixative or a Krylon, you know, acrylic spray or something like that, and it'll last you a good amount of time. This really needs a matting of some sort, possibly some blue or something like that, or a nice white mat around that, and a black, you know, card, and that would be quite dramatic. But it really needs a kind of some matting around here, maybe a darker blue too, like maybe a white and then a darker blue, and then throw it on a black card, and that would be quite dramatic. So anyways, another little technique right here, and that's kind of a fun, it would be really fun on a kind of a more iridescent paper too. You know, you can get a nice sheen to it or whatnot, but I don't know, you can try out this technique on any type of paper. You can do it, it doesn't have to be a winter scene. If I did this kind of on a, I don't know, like a beige paper bag type of stock or something like that, it would look kind of more antiqued or whatnot. I think that would look, you know, kind of interesting. And then you can stamp out your imagery in like a dark brown or something like that instead. So I don't know, just whatever color paper you're working with. You can go with a green or something like that, you know, for this pine foresty type of thing. That would look interesting as well. And it's really fun adding in that bleed-proof white splatter painting texture to the piece. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, hope you try it out and have as much fun doing it as I did. It's really fun. So save your toothbrushes, not just for cleaning your grout and things like that, but for your stamped scenes. Alright, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop us a note in the comment section.